Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to this recording in which I will present you with a test which I subjected the date of May 10th, 122 AD in order to gain confidence that it is in fact the first day of the first month in the 3974th year since the heavenly bodies were created. In order to do that, there's some bit of information that you need to have, and I will proceed to share that information with you. The first item of information you need to have is that Moses was on Mount Sinai or Mount Horeb on the last day of the 9th year in the 50th Jubilee. You can determine that by examining the book of Jubilees. The angel that was speaking with him on the mountain informed him that while I have told you about the Jubilees and the events which took place in those Jubilees, I am yet to tell you where exactly you are right now. And then he told him that from the days of Adam to this day, the language that the angel used is to this day, there have been 49 jubilees and 1 year and 1 week and 2 years. That is, a week is 7 years. Therefore, it was actually the last day of the 9th year in the 50th Jubilee. That is very important. So, if May 10th, 122 AD is in fact the first day of the first month in the year 3974, then it means that from that we can go back to the 50th Jubilee and to the last day of the 9th year and find the date for that day. I have done that process, and I have found that the first day of the 10th year in the 50th Jubilee was actually September 14, 1437 BC. So that's important. The second item of information that you need to have is what I mentioned previously, that July 21st, 140 AD was the first day of the Egyptian year, and that moving back 65 days lands you on the first day of the month of Abib on the Egyptian calendar. And the date for that day is 17th May 140 AD. And so it is possible to move back in steps of 365 up to the year 1437, and when we do so, we will land on the first day in the month of Abib in 1437 BC. I have done that as well, and that landed me on the date of June 15th, 1437 BC. Therefore, June 15th, 1437 BC was the first day in the month of Abib on the Egyptian calendar, and September 14, 1437 BC was the first day of the 10th year in the 50th Jubilee on the biblical calendar. Those two items of information are important. Now, the Israelites are reported in the Bible to have left Egypt on the 14th day of the month of Abib. But we also know that they commemorate their departure from Egypt on the 14th day of the first month. And we also know that in the same Bible, they were informed that they are to make the month when they left Egypt to be their first month. So what this means is that for that month to be both the 14th day of an Egyptian month as well as the 14th day of a biblical month, that the start day for both months must have been the same day. The month must have begun on the same day. And therefore, the difference between the first day of that month and the first day of the 10th year in the 50th Jubilee has to be a whole number of months. And the reason why it has to be a whole number of months is because the interval, let's say the same dates in two different months on the same calendar, are always separated by a whole number of months, regardless of which calendar one is using. And therefore, the difference between them has to be a whole number of months. Moreover, it has to be a small number because Moses was called up to the mountain on the 16th day of the third month after they left Egypt, and he was on the mountain 40 days. Therefore, he could not have been the time interval between when they left Egypt and when he left the mountain could not have been roughly more than 5 months. So it was perhaps 4 months and something. And therefore, we expect that the difference between the dates in the year in which they left, of the first of Abib and of the first of the 10th year, should be a small whole number of months on the biblical calendar. In practice, when you examine the difference between 14th September 1437 BC and June 15, 1437 BC, the difference is exactly 91. Now, a quarter in the biblical calendar has 91 days. That means that there was a difference of exactly 1/4 between when Moses was on the mountain and when the Israelites left Egypt. It means that in the month in which they left Egypt, the start of that month and the start of the 10th year, the 50th Jubilee, was separated by exactly 91 days, which tells us that the month in which they left Egypt must have been the 10th month. And if the date that we had assumed to be the first of the first month in the 3974th year was not actually what we assumed it to be, we would not have obtained that result. And that is the way that I know with confidence that that May 10th, 122 AD is in fact the first day of the first month in the 3974th year since the creation of the heavenly bodies. If that is true, then there are so many other dates that you can obtain, including even the present day. You can work out exactly what date on the biblical calendar the present day is, because you have at least one date in which you know both the date on the biblical calendar and the date on the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar. I hope that this has been informative and helpful. And if you have any concerns or questions, please share. I hope you have a good day and see you in the next video. Bye.